up, YouTube? It's your girl, allegedly A-lease, and I'm here to give you my thoughts and my opinions on Everybody Hates Chris. That would be a good name for it. Okay, y'all, for real though. Married at First Sight. Let's talk about it. So before we get into it, be sure to subscribe so that you know when I release all the latest and greatest videos. Also, if you're feeling this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, show your girl some love. We open up with producers telling Chris, listen, you need to come clean with Paige, you need to tell her, and he's adamant that he's not about to tell Paige anything. Now let me say this, I really see what's going on. I feel like the producers been knowing about this and they felt like this was the time to get it off his chest. I feel like the producers knew when he disappeared for that long period of time, the day or the night or the morning after they got married. So I feel like everyone's in on this except for Paige, and that's not cool. Claire and Ryan are discussing how Ryan is regimented and how Claire's job allows her as a flight attendant to be more spontaneous. Virginia and Eric are comparing themselves to the other couples, and they feel like the other couples are pretty regular pace and they're moving at a faster pace. Honey, have you seen Brianna and Vincent? Baby, they're goals, not y'all. Y'all are regular, okay? That's goals. But Eric makes a good note about Chris and Paige and how he's noticed that they're not really into each other the way that they should be. Chris and Paige sit down to eat breakfast, and Reverend Chris just digs in. And Paige says, skirt, are you not going to say grace? And he gives us that grace that you teach your 3-year-old when they sit down and they're now starting to say their grace. Reverend Chris. Chris tells Paige that he found out some devastating news, but he does not want to discuss it with her. And so Paige tells him, as a married man, you don't have a right to keep secrets. And so he's adamant that he's not wanting to share this information with Paige at this moment. So Paige needs a mental break once again. And girl, let me tell you, I don't even know this man, and I need a mental break. I can guarantee you anybody watching this show needs a mental break from Chris. Paige breaks the fourth wall and tells producers, listen, somebody's going to tell me something today. And so on the other side of the hotel room, the producers are talking to Chris saying, you need to go ahead and tell her. And he's just not backing down at this point in time. Vincent tells Brianna that his grandmother is doing much better and the scare is over. She's now recovering. And he thanks her for having his back. Over breakfast, they discuss where they want to live, how many kids they want to have. Y'all, it's a beautiful thing. Back over with Chris and Paige. Paige is adamant. She wants to know what is it that everyone else knows that she doesn't. So Chris decides he's going to take her into the bathroom, cut on all of the water in the bathroom from the sink to the bathtub to the shower. And he tells her at that point, take your mic off. And so she takes her mic off. I guess at that point he's telling her, my ex is pregnant. And he walks out. Wait, Chris, your wife, you just told your wife that you're having a baby and it's not by her, bruh. What you doing leaving her in there by herself? So production goes in to check on her. And when I tell you, Paige walks out looking like she saw a ghost. Paige looked numb. Paige said she was numb. Quick side note, can I say in all this hurt and pain that Chris has just put onto Paige within these past couple days, Paige, when she said, I need a moment away from Chris, she got dressed and she walked out of the hotel room. When I tell you Paige walked out of that hotel room looking like a whole snack, Chris knew he had messed up at that point because you could see Chris looking when she walked out the room. So Haley and Jacob sit down to a non-steak lunch and they discuss their routines. Haley says in her interview, I see his quirks, but y'all, I'm trying to roll with it. So as long as you see it, sis, because we was wondering. Claire and Ryan play with the dolphins, and later they discuss wanting to have kids. Ryan says he wants to name his child Elton, his son Elton. And Claire's like, nah, bruh, we ain't doing that. Claire says she wants to give her kids all the freedom in the world to try things, anything that they want to try in life, because she felt like she never got that opportunity. She also says she doesn't want to force religion on her kids. And Ryan gives her that look like, okay, we'll see. This is not even worth the argument right now. Paige visits with Brianna and shares the news about Chris's ex being with child. And at the same time, Vincent is visiting with Chris, and Chris is sharing that same information with Vincent. Vincent tells Chris that's the right thing to do, is to go ahead and tell your wife that your ex is pregnant. Bruh, he didn't do it on his own, okay? It took a whole village. It took all the production. It took everybody. Dr. Cal probably had to come in. No telling who all. The front desk workers probably had to come in and tell Chris, just tell that girl. So don't pat that man on the back. Meanwhile, across the hotel, the ladies are trying to piece together a timeline of when he actually left his ex based off of his previous explanation. Now, Chris is telling Vincent that he actually cut things off as far as the engagement with his ex in May, but they were still kicking it. Now I'm going to tell y'all, that's a whole lie. And I'll put it in my community tab for my subscribers to see the proof that Chris was more than just kicking it with his ex. Vince asked Chris, now, if Paige wasn't in the picture, would you get back with your ex? And he says, yes, but I'm married now, so I can't focus on that. Paige is talking to Brianna about staying with Chris because she feels like they were paired for a reason. And listen, I get your faith, Paige, but baby, God ain't tell you to be no whole fool, okay, sis? And so I'll say this, Brianna gave her the best advice. She said, stop thinking about him and think about yourself. So Brianna and Vincent meet back up and they discuss the fact that Chris's ex is 6 weeks with child. And both of them feel the same way that we all feel. Paige should leave. Eric and Virginia are hanging out by the pool, and Virginia actually talks Eric into having a couple drinks. Ooh. Quick side note on this one. Can I say the ladies on social media seem to love Eric, and that threw me for a loop. But hey, Eric is like the man on social media. Virginia tells Eric one of her biggest pet peeves is the fact that he doesn't pick up after himself. And this is only day 3. So, bro, you better get to it, because for her to have that pet peeve already, you must be trying it. She also states that she has a concern about his jealous side. Eric says that he has a rule that Virginia can't have any male friends unless they're married, dating, or not into women. Sir, you do know that married people cheat, right? And in a roundabout way, my girl Virginia basically tells him, get over it. Bree and Vince share a sweet moment during dinner, and let me say, it gave me a moment to lower my blood pressure. We find out that they have consummated their marriage, and Vince says that they are a match made in heaven. And I agree. Haley and Jacob have dinner at the aquarium, and they ask each other questions, pretty basic questions. And I'll just be honest. I think single life has caused Haley to settle and just say, well, let me just try this. She's pulling the page. You know, they put me with him for a reason. And that's all good, but you guys are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Jacob. Jacob is just not in your category, and you're not in his category. Jacob is a 70s kid. Actually, he's an 80s baby, but he loves the 70s. And you're Miss Spontaneous, love to go out and network with people. And so I don't know if opposites will attract with this couple. Chris and Paige meet up for dinner, and Chris asks Paige for her feedback. Paige asks, well, how far along is your ex? And he says 6 weeks. She also asks, when were the last time that you guys were together? He says 6 weeks. And the Chris we all know and hate came out and said, Paige, you don't deserve this. You're right. She don't, bruh. Reverend Chris says that he is emotionally drained. Sir, you are the one that brought all of this baggage and created all of this drama. Save it. Paige asks Chris if he still had feelings for his ex, and Chris doesn't answer the question straight up. He responds by saying, you're my wife now. You come first. You come before everybody. Then Chris compliments Paige. Bruh, it's day 3, okay? It's now day 3, and you're just now giving your wife a compliment? Plus, day 2, you're yelling that she's not your type. Chris at this point is just buying time, and Paige is actually eating it up. They decide to be friends and really get to know each other, and I could have swore that they've had this same conversation the first time he told Paige he wasn't into her, and she walked away and went and got her hair braided, and she came back. I could have swore that they had this conversation. I can actually see now how Chris gets so far in life. Chris is a genius at telling people exactly what they want to hear. And in this moment, he did it for Paige, and Paige ate it right on up. So the couples all meet up, and everyone's sharing how their relationships are going so far. And Chris and Paige are sitting in silence. They ask them how things are going, and Chris actually shares with them that his ex is with child. Claire had a good point. She called it Stockholm Syndrome because here Paige is speaking on their behalf, taking up for Chris, having his back, and deciding to stay. Chris is jealous that everyone is actually supporting Paige and not him. So, of course, Chris storms out. He also says that he's a little jealous that everyone's happy. Wait, hold up, wait. But what about Paige? What about dinner? You just said that she was all of these wonderful things. So if you're seeing these wonderful things and you're complimenting Paige, why aren't you happy? What is there to be jealous of? You have someone good as well. See, Chris is the definition of trash. Now let me say this, because Paige continuously brings up what God has for her, and she's just following because clearly God has something big. Let me say this, as a religious person, you pray about things, but God doesn't want you to be a fool, okay? So that's like saying, oh, I got a disease, I'm just gonna pray about it. Okay, you pray about it, but you still go to the doctor. God gifted doctors. I'm not trying to get religious on anybody, but it's really driving me up a wall that Paige is sitting here saying, I'm just going to wait and see what's going on, whatever God has for me. You can't just sit back and wait on what God has for you. Sometimes God is showing you signs and clues, sis. Take the hint. So once again, here's Paige chasing after Chris, looking for him because he's all dramatic and in his feelings. And she finds him and tells him, you shouldn't be worried about anything else but us. Don't focus on the other couples. Focus on us. And Chris says in his interview in that moment, he feels stuck. He finally tells the truth. He feels stuck. So you signed this contract and now you have to do this show or pay the show $100,000. Yeah, you feel stuck. What about Paige? Eric and Virginia arrive late to the gathering, and Eric sits down and he jokingly says, hey, what's up with you, Chris? And Chris pops off. He's like, I don't owe any of y'all an explanation. Bro, what you so mad for? Dude just sat down. He don't know anything. What you mad for? So he finally opens up and shares that his ex is with child. Chris immediately asks to change the subject, but Eric lays right into him and does not let up like everyone else did and says, you need to focus on Paige. She's a good girl and you have a wonderful wife. And of course, Chris is sitting there having his whole little temper tantrum, and he says, I said, let's change the subject. And y'all, that's where we leave it. So, should Paige stay and wait on a sign from God? Is Eric out of line for his rule about male friends for Virginia? And is Haley settling because she's been single for so long and she just wants to be married because all of her friends are married? Let's chat about it down in the comments. Until the next time, I'm allegedly A-lease. Peace.